Ready? All right, ladies, s'il vous plaît. Anybody have any special intentions this morning? No? Julia, we'll keep your intentions in mind, all right? And we'll continue to offer our prayers for the end of this pandemic and for those who are sick from the pandemic. All right, notre Père, qui es au Saint-Esprit, et soit notre Père, qui est aux cieux, que votre nom soit sanctifié, que votre règne arrive, que votre volonté soit faite, sur la terre comme au ciel. Donnez-nous aujourd'hui notre pain de ce jour. Pardonnez-nous nos offenses, comme nous pardonnons à ceux qui nous ont offensés, et ne nous laissez pas succomber à la tentation, mais délivrez-nous du mal. Amen. Je vous salue Marie, pleine de grâce, le Seigneur est avec vous. Vous êtes bénie entre toutes les femmes, et Jésus, le fruit de vos entrailles, est béni. Sainte Marie, Mère de Dieu, priez pour nous pauvres pécheurs, maintenant et à l'heure de notre mort. Amen. Asseyez-vous. All right, let's start today. We ended up with our fun story last week of Jack, right? The story of Jack and Bella and Amelia who showed up at the party. All right, so the verb venir. Does you guys remember what that means? To come. All right, so let's practice again as we just did for the first time last class. Je viens. Tu viens. Il vient. Elle vient. On vient. Nous venons. Vous venez. Ils viennent. Elles viennent. And which verb does that remind us of? Because this is an irregular pattern. Remember we talked about it last time? Which one? Prendre. So similar because it doesn't have the stem. So V-E-N, right? It's V-I-E-N. All right? So for the first, second, third singular and the third plural, they change it to V-I-E-N. All right? You double your N for the plural. So again, this is not the normal pattern for an IR verb. All right, so let's go ahead and practice that. Why don't you guys all find a spot at the board? Yep.
I just consider the boot verb.
It could be, yep, it could be. Yep. Any boot verb are the ones, right, where the new and the boot are different from all the rest. So yeah, you can throw it in there. Absolutely. All right, so find a place on the board somewhere. So why don't you try to do prendre, the verb prendre with it, okay? Oh, sorry. But if you can grab the other one on, that's probably clean. Okay, so spread yourselves out. Perfect. So give yourself some space. There you go. Julia, do you want to do it in the chat?
Yeah, I'll do the friends now.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Yep. Is anyone here from Katie? She's usually
Want me
here.
to text her?
If you don't mind, that'd be great. As soon as you finish translating, okay?
Sure, thank you. Okay, so one end for the new form. Only the third plural has a double. And this is the same form. So just one end for the both. So think of prendre, it'll be the same thing. Easy, good. And the V-I-E-N-N, and then just, this is just present tense, so just your N, yeah. Yep. Correct, yes. Okay. V-I-E-N-S, yeah. Okay. Good. Okay, good. Okay. All right, Julia, let's take a look.
Julia?
I see. I'm texting Katie right now.
Okay, let's see. Okay, is it a double N, Jack, for the final plural? But then, no, those are good. The new and the blue are good, but the final one, PRPNN, just like the other one. And then just for fun, all right, take bien, because that's the new verb, all right, and let's put it in the imperfect. All right, so these are all present tense. Let's move the venir over to the imperfect. Okay, did you hear that, Julia?
Oh, no, sorry.
Yeah, take the verb venir and put it in the imperfect.
Okay.
Okay? Good, excellent. Okay, good. What are you thinking about? There you go, that's right. Yep, yep. Okay, one little thing missing on here. So look at your new in your room.
Is it just double?
So start with your stem, because remember, the new and the vu are the only ones that have the V-E-N. So remember, everything else is V-I-E.
Oh.
Okay, so start with that. We'll start with the stem. Okay, so no I-E to that one. Just go to the, just like the actual infinitive is V-E-N
Alright.
for veneer, right? Okay, good. Now start with just the V-E-N as your stem, because those are the different ones all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're done, you can sit.
And then it was just
And then what, yeah, the endings. Okay, that's the present tense. What makes it imperfect? Not ONS, but add one more thing, I.
oh the I.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Okay, looks good. All right, so bien. And then we'll see over here. Okay, that's good. All right, so now how do you feel about that? Good? All right, so if you want to say I come, all right, let me check yours. Julia?
Sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you.
Oh, you know what I think it is? I think it's because I have the... I had the sound on this. Let's see if that helps. Is that better? All right, how about that? Okay, better? Okay, now I've lost you. I can't hear you. Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you better.
Can you hear me
Also,
now?
there's no word from Katie, so.
Okay, that's fine. We'll check up on it later. All right. So AIS. Okay, so remember the new form, Julia? Just don't forget your S at the end. And otherwise looks good. All right, very good. All right, let's move on. Can you see the screen, Julia?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. All right. So, venir in the present tense, to come, how would you say I come? Je viens, good. If you were to say it in the imperfect. So would you what? Imperfect? Venez, venez, good. And then how about the passé composé? Irregular, weird, venu, venu. So remember those aller, arrivé, venu, revenu, you guys remember those? See how many you can remember. Go ahead, 1, 2, 3. Aller, arrivé, venu, revenu, entre, rentre, descend,
monter, tomber, nécessairement. So, aller, aller, venu. All right, voulu. All right. So we're going to move on to prepositions. All right, les prépositions avec les noms géographiques. All right, so now we're going to talk about prepositions. We already know a means to or at. All right, de means from, about, or come. So in this case, when we're talking about going somewhere or coming from somewhere, we're going to use a, accent aigu. And why do we have that accent aigu from the preposition a?
Differentiate from third person singular as well.
Right. So if you use the verb avoir, right, third person singular is a. But this, they're just telling you this is a preposition. It doesn't really change the sound, as we like when you have e accent aigu, right? That gives you an emphasis on the e accent aigu. But in this case, a with the accent mark just tells you it's a preposition. All right. So il est à Lyon aujourd'hui. So what is that telling us? So he's in Lyon aujourd'hui, today. Il revient, so we just did venir, which means to come. All right, so if you say revient, that would mean to come back, to come back. So il revient de Lyon demain. So what is that telling us? Or he's coming back from demain. Tomorrow. So he's in Lyon today, and he comes back from Lyon tomorrow. All right, il arrive à Nice demain. So, I mean, elle arrive à Nice demain. Good, she's arriving tomorrow. Elle part de Paris. So she's leaving from Paris. Good. All right, so Anna, how about if you read number 2 for us, please?
The names of all the continents end in the sound E, and they are all feminine. L'Amérique, l'Oceanie, l'Europe, l'Asie.
Yeah.
Almost all countries whose names end in the sound E are also feminine. All other countries are masculine.
Okay, so what about all the continents?
They're all feminine.
They're all feminine. They all end in E, all right? So almost all countries whose names end in silent E are also feminine. All right, so the E is an indication of the feminine, which makes it easy. What are the continents? How many continents are there? 7, good. And then what are they? Well, we know they're giving us Europe, Asia, Africa, Afrique, all right? What else? North America, South America, okay? Any guesses as to how you would say North America in French? Think of it as America of the North. North is masculine. Du Nord, good, du, right? America du Nord, so the South would be America du Sud, good. What else? What other continents? Antarctica, so Antarctique, good. And what else? Asie, which is Asia, Afrique, Europe.
Is Australia one?
Oui, yes, très bien, Julia. All right, so Australie, so they all end in E. And I think that's all of them. All right, so all of them begin ending in E, so we know they'll all be in the same category. All right. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Okay, and all other countries are masculine, as we just said. So la France is feminine, la Belgique, la Suisse, l'Italie, l'Espagne. All right, now the masculine ones, le Canada, le Senegal, le Mali, le Luxembourg, l'Iran. All right, notice the endings, right? These all end in E, so we know they're feminine. These don't end in an E, so we know they're masculine. The only exception to the rule is Mexico, all right? It's Mexique with an E. Here she is. And so Le Mexique is going to be the only exception that's going to be masculine. And the reason that's important is because it's going to affect the preposition that we're going to use going to and coming from. Bonjour, Katie.
Bonjour.
Everything good?
Yeah, I'm so sorry I overslept.
No worries, no worries. Look how dark it is at your house. I think we would all oversleep. So she's in California right now, so that's a different time zone. All right, so we're doing prepositions today, Katie. All right, so if you have your book, à la page 113. All right, so I live in Europe. If you want to say I live in Europe, j'habite en. So en, all right, that's the preposition we're going to use to say that I live. Or whenever you're talking about Europe, okay? So we just mentioned all the continents which are feminine. You're going to say en, all right? All right, so let's practice that. J'habite en bureau. All right, je reviens de. You'd say de, but because Europe begins with a vowel, je reviens de. All right, now you're going to Belgium. So Belgium. So you say je vais en Belgique. All right, je viens de Belgique. J'habite en Israël. Je reviens d'Israël. Je vais en Iran. Je viens d'Iran. All right. We use AU to express to or in, and DU to express from, with all masculine. So all masculine countries, all right? So that begin with a consonant. So because AU, what's that contraction for? The preposition a plus le. A plus le. All right, so we put a, le together. So these are masculine, so you would say le Canada. So we went up here, le Canada, le Senegal. Because you have le and you're going to, you're going to say a le. So instead of a le, we contract that to AU. So j'habite au Canada. So try that. Je vais au Japon. Okay, then you're coming back. Je reviens du Canada. And je viens du Japon. And again, when you're using du, right, what does that contract for? De plus le. Good. All right. So again, you have le Canada for both of these. And when you're going to, it's a plus le. When you're coming from, it's de plus le. All right? And so that's where those come from. And again, these are the countries that are masculine. There's only a couple that are plural. You use the plural AUX and then DES when you're coming from. All right, so going to, what does AUX, what's that the contraction for? A plus le, LES, okay? So we know the United States is plural. So we have a plus LES, the article. Put those together, and that's why we say au when you're going to. All right, de plus LES gives you day, and that's coming from. All right, so you're going to aux États-Unis, you're coming from. So je viens des États-Unis, I'm coming from. All right, j'habite où, I live in or going to. All right, so again, when you're going into a feminine country, we talked about that earlier. Let's go back. All right, any of the continents or countries that are feminine, if we're going to, we're going to use en, right? We said it right there, en, okay? To express in or to, and de expresses from. All right, I think what I forgot from the beginning is to tell you this was cities. All right, so these are the cities. When you're going into a city, Paris, New York, all right, we use a. When you're coming from, it's de. All right, so those are the cities. To is up, from is de. Then when you get to the continents that end in E, those are feminine, except for Mexico. And then these here, Canada, these are all the masculines here. All right, so le, and you have to have those articles in front of each one. All right, so when you go into en, those are continents and countries. All right, that are feminine. Mexico will be AU because it's masculine. When you're going into. Coming from is always de, all right? Unless it's in front of a vowel, then it's D apostrophe. All right, when you get to the countries, then you need your de plus le, and in this case, it's going to be do. All right, does that make sense? I know this is all new. Everyone has a tough time with these because it's kind of, you have to think about it. So again, you have to say, is it feminine or masculine? Is it a country or a continent, or is it a city? Cities are always going to is up, all right? Coming from is de. The rest of them does is pretty much the same for all of them. let's just see how many of these we can figure out. All right, so what do you think about France? What are we doing? We're going completely avec le, la, or elle pasta. All right, so they just want you to use the articles to determine whether they're masculine or feminine. All right? Do you want to work together for a minute and see what you can come up with? Yeah. So just do your circle if you guys want to just turn for a second and you can all work together.